All right. Hello, everyone. I hope you can see me and you can hear me well. You can let me know on the chat if everything is correct. But if I see well, yeah, everything should be all right. So, welcome everyone to our next public demo for the PrestaShop open source project. We have fall edition already. It's October. So, as always, we have some news for you and one demo. So my name is Christian Podemski, and I'm tech evangelist for the open source project in PrestaShop. Plus, I'm one of the core maintainers of the software. Today's agenda is as follows. First, I will introduce you to some event rules. Then I will present you with a bunch of interesting news around the software and around the project. Then we will continue the new format that I introduced a couple months ago, which is about overviewing interesting pull requests that are coming to the software. Last but not least, we'll have some demos plus the Q&A session. So hello everyone. I hope you will enjoy this event. But first, about event rules, I'm sure you know it already, but to have a little recap, please use the chat to ask questions. I will answer them at the end of the event during our Q&A session. Secondly, this event is about the PrestaShop open source project, so we don't discuss PrestaShop company stuff here. The next rule is that this event is public and recorded, so you can see the replay of it later on YouTube. Last but not least, please respect our code of conduct of the PrestaShop project. Be respectful to each other, so we can be all happy while watching. And all right, let's go to the project news. First news is about PrestaShop 8. I'm sure this is what is most interesting for you all. So the status is as follows. PrestaShop release candidate 1 has been built, and it is now in the hand of quality assurance team. The team is working hard to test the build, and if everything is correct, we can expect the final release of release candidate next week. And then we will have a week or two before the final version of V8. So we are very, very close to having a final version of PrestaShop 8. Along with the software release, we will also have the new version of PrestaShop Auto Upgrade module. Version 4.15 is also released in the release candidate phase, and you can download the new version from modules GitHub, which I will show you a bit later. Next news is about Hacktoberfest, because it is in October already, so is Hacktoberfest 2022 is here. To remind you, Hacktoberfest is a month-long celebration of the open source software. It's an initiative started by and sponsored by DigitalOcean, one company from the United States, that is organizing everything around this event. And basically, the idea is to support open source projects through contributions from regular contributors or from newcomers. And by doing that, you have a chance to get t-shirts, or if you prefer a more eco-friendly option, there's a chance to have a tree planted in your name by the DigitalOcean company. How to participate in Hacktoberfest? First, you need to register to Hacktoberfest event. Then you need to work on your pull request. And here I would like to mention that it is not only about the coding. It is also about improving translations, improving the documentation, and so on and so forth. This year, Hacktoberfest supports low-code and no-code contributions, so everyone on any level is welcome to contribute to the open source software. Then you need to make sure that your pull requests are validated by Hacktoberfest team, and then you need to let us know in the pull request description that you are participating in Hacktoberfest. Your pull request will be validated by committers and maintainers of our project. And if you follow this step 4 times, you have a chance to get your t-shirt, goodies, stickers, or like I said previously, you have a chance to have your tree planted, to have tree planted in your name by the DigitalOcean company. Also, in other news, we have a new format for questions and answer session. Before we would answer your questions during the live event, so there was no chance to ask us anything beforehand. Now there's a chance to ask us any questions that you might have around the PrestaShop open source project. To do that, you can follow this link that is now shared on your screen. It's also available on build.prestashopproject.org, so on our developers blog. So if you have any questions, you can ask them beforehand, before the live event, and we will answer them during the event. So you can watch it live, or you can watch the replay of the event to have your answers. I would like to also mention that we have two new members in the project. We welcomed Thomas, who is tech content manager responsible for improving the developer documentation. So you can expect, and you can already see an impact that Thomas has on the project, and you can see many improvements around the developer documentation. I would like to also welcome Fabien, who is developer hired by PrestaShop company. He's the core developer there, and he's also joined committers team. So he now has higher rights when it comes to managing the project and maintaining it. So welcome to Thomas, welcome to Fabien. Happy to have you there. And we can continue with our next segment, which is pull request overview. So now I will share you my screen, so we can go through a few interesting pull requests that are coming to next versions of the software. Let me present you the next segment via my screen. All right. Okay. I hope you can see my screen. I will make the display a little bit bigger. All right. So in this segment, I will focus on a few pull requests that were created in the last few weeks. So you can see what is coming to the software. It is not a real life demo as you could imagine. It's only about giving you a heads up that, hey, this feature is coming to the software, and later we could focus on it more thoroughly to show you the live demo on how this feature works and so on. So the first feature I would like to mention that is coming to V8 is a possibility to update the attachments via web service, update with the newly introduced patch method. This method has been introduced to PrestaShop V8, and now attachments are also supported. The next feature that I would like to mention is a bug fix that is coming from one of our community contributors, Lawrence, and he fixed a bug which is about displaying inactive CMS categories inside breadcrumbs. So basically, he reproduced this bug. So if you have a CMS category which is not enabled and it shouldn't be displayed in front office, the user has no access to it, but it is still displayed in the breadcrumb. So Lawrence submitted a pull request which fixes this bug, and this bug fix is coming to PrestaShop v8.1. Going further, we have a nice bug fix from Thomas, aka Atomics, who was working on the SQL Manager. And I'm showing you that not only to show that we are still supporting 1.7.8, it's also to mention that SQL Manager is really powerful tool which can help you with exporting data from your store. It's really powerful tool which can be used to export database of your clients to CSV, or custom data around orders from the software, and so on and so forth. It's important for this tool to work properly. So Thomas fixes some bugs which were related to using exits and which were related to using exist after the where condition. So this fix is coming to PrestaShop v1.7 plus other new releases as like v8 or v8.1, which is logical. The next change that is coming to the software is coming from Daniel. Daniel, our regular contributor and committer, and classic theme and Hummingbird maintainer. This is about refactoring the product controller. Daniel has this challenge to improve the code base of PrestaShop, which is very, very, very nice. And one of his contributions is about refactoring product controller. As you can see, the code in product controller is now much more readable, much more maintainable. So you can expect more changes to the product controller and in general to the core classes coming from Daniel. I know he has a mission to improve the code base and the standard of the code base of PrestaShop. So I would like to tell you that a lot of good stuff is coming from Daniel. We can check other change that is coming from Daniel, which is about improving sitemap in front office. Now, if you are a developer, if you want to add new links to the sitemap, which is displayed in front office of your store, you can do that using the new hook, which will be available in PrestaShop 8.1. So as you can see, Daniel modified the code that is responsible for displaying sitemap in front office. And now you have this new hook, action modify frontend sitemap. So if you happen to work on a custom module which has some front controllers available, you can now use, you will be able to use a new hook in starting from PrestaShop 8.1 to display your new URLs inside the sitemap generated in front controller. If you think about the sitemap generated for Google, which is sitemap.xml, this is available by default if you use the default module from PrestaShop, which is gsitemap. You can do that already using the hook that is coming with the module. Coming to more changes from Daniel, because Daniel is on fire recently. He's submitting a lot of good improvements. So the next improvement is around a feature that has been requested for a long time, which is about customizing the format of an order reference, basically all documents references. So the first part is about adding the hook to the generate reference method of the order class. This way, if you happen to be a module developer, you can now use this hook to modify, to generate the reference based on the data of the order that you want. So you can use action generate document reference hook. You can see if the type of the reference is order, and if so, generate, for instance, a number instead of a string of no numeric alpha digits and so on and so forth. So basically, this was possible before via modifying via overrides. You could override order class and basically entire generate reference method. From now on, in PrestaShop 8.1, it is no longer necessary to have an override because it will be available as a hook. So this is a great change, and I hope to see this hook inside other entities like invoice or credit slips and so on and so forth. And last change that is coming from Daniel is about having a button to preview the CMS page. It's not about previewing the page. It's about viewing the page, because we had this button to preview the page before, so we could click the save and preview button, but it was not possible to click the view page button to only see the recent changes. So it is now possible. The change is now in the review process, so this change will come to 8.1, I hope. And the last pull request that I would like to show you is coming to PrestaShop 8.1. and it was already merged recently. And it is about showing the required fields while adding a new address. As you might know, it is possible to select required fields for addresses if you if you go to addresses controller. Let me go to PrestaShop back office. If we go to customers addresses, it's a fresh installation, so let's give it a minute. All right, set required fields. As you can see, we can set the company field or postcode or for instance, phone field as required. So if I go to the add new address page, I see that this field is not required. And normally, before this change that is coming from Thomas, even though I save these settings, if I go here, I would see that this field is still not required, which is not true. Now, if I refresh this page, this field is still not required because I'm showing you 178. But believe me, in V8 it is available, and maybe after upgrading 178 to V8, I will show you how it works, because I wanted to show you a live demo, but I forgot that I'm using 178 for purpose of the next demo. So I showed you a few pull requests that are coming to the next versions of the software, either 8.0 or 8.1. So as you can see, a lot is going on around the software. A lot is going on inside the software, a lot of community contributions, which we are very happy about. And now I think we can continue with the next thing that I would like to show you, which is about the upgrade. I would like to show you the way a way of upgrading from 178 to 8.0, but using your custom distribution. But before I do that, I would like to mention that all the links to pull requests that are presented to you a second ago will be available in the presentation, which will be shared after the event in the build blog post and in the comment section on YouTube. But now let's go to the next thing, which is upgrading from 178 to 8.0. All right, so the plan is that I will share you my screen. All right, I can close these things. I will start by showing you that I'm using the recent version of 178, which is 1787. And my mission for today is to upgrade to PrestaShop V8. But as you probably know, there's no release of PrestaShop release candidate yet, because this build is still in the hands of quality assurance team. So we could download PrestaShop 8 beta and upgrade to the beta 1. But what we want to do is to upgrade to the most recent version of PrestaShop 8. And it is still possible, and I will show you how. First thing that you need is to download the PrestaShop repository. So I will do that. Here's my terminal. I will make sure to clone this repository. All right, let's clone it to PrestaShop upgrade test or PrestaShop LC1. Let's do that. And I will show you a way to create a build that you normally would download from GitHub or from any other source that is providing you with the PrestaShop installer. And I will show you a way how to create this kind of installer yourself. Basically, what we are trying to do is to create your own distribution of PrestaShop, which is now possible thanks to the custom command that is available in the software. Here you have a full documentation on how to use this command. And what's cool about it is that you can create your own distribution with your modules, with your theme, basically with the data that you want to have in your installer. So if you happen to be a PrestaShop agency or PrestaShop developer who works with your own starter theme or have some base modules that you install in every store, you might be interested in creating your own build of PrestaShop. But this time I'm doing that only to show you that it is possible. Plus, there's no official release candidate build, so we will create one ourselves. So the Git repository is now cloned into my hard drive. So I will change the folder. Now we are in the PrestaShop repository, but this repository is now on the develop branch. And as we can see on GitHub, there are a few branches, and we are interested in 8.0.x branch. So we will change the branch. And now we can build our own release. If we look at the documentation, there's a new command available. There's a new class available that is responsible for creating a new build. So let's create a new build of version 8.0.0, like this. If I run the script, this will basically compile all the assets. This will install all the project's dependencies. This will produce a final zip version, an XML file, which later you can use in the auto upgrade module. So that shouldn't take more than 2 minutes. So let's wait a bit. And let's make sure that we are ready to go when it comes to the 178. I have my auto upgrade module installed, and as you can see, there's a version 4.15. This version is not yet available on GitHub in the releases tab, but it is available in pull request created by Mathieu, because basically this is the release candidate version. You can download the 4.15 version from GitHub pull request. So I'm using this package, which is version 4.15, as you can see. I think our build is now, building assets. Our comment is now building assets. So let's wait a bit. Let's go visit auto upgrade module. All right, it's loading. All right, so basically, let's now review the settings. I don't need my files to be backed. I think we can do that without the backup. My server performance, as I'm running locally, can be high. And one point that is important for upgrading from 178 to 8 or from 1.6 to 1.7.8, basically, every time when you upgrade your PrestaShop, you should consider disabling non-native modules. It is critical for upgrades from 1.7 to V8, simply because we don't expect developers from our community to upgrade their solutions right away. There might need some more time to make proper changes to their solutions. So if you want to upgrade to V8 right now, it is highly recommended to keep this option set to yes. We want to disable non-native modules during the upgrade. What else? It's also highly recommended to disable all overrides. You probably want to upgrade the default theme, although I wouldn't recommend you to switch to the default theme, as it is not necessary, simply because the front office should be compatible with your 1.7 theme. What else? We have an option to regenerate right to left style sheet. You can leave it as is, or you can disable it. In most cases, it is not relevant. Last but not least, we have an option to keep the customized email templates, and this is something that you should be very careful about. If you modified email templates, you should probably leave this option set to no. So let's see how it's going on with our build. All right, as you can see, the build is now ready, and it should be available in our tools/build to /releases folder. Let's see. Yeah, we have this build available. So now I will show you where to put this package if you want to upgrade from 1.7 to the package that we are just generated. Give me a second. Right. All right. I'm not sure if you can see all the items on my screen because I see that the font is very small. Let me check if I can change the font size really quickly. All right, I think it is not possible right now, but anyway, what we need to do is to go to Tools, Build, Releases, and to our newly generated folder. And here we have two files. We have XML file and we have zip file. So what we need to do is to change the channel of the package that we want to upgrade to. So we don't want to upgrade from 1.7 to 1.7, obviously. The release candidate has not been released yet. The beta version is not relevant for us. So basically what we want to do is to upgrade to the version that is locally zipped already. So I'm choosing the local archive option. And here I have my PrestaShop 8 zip package. And it is going to the folder, your admin directory, auto upgrade, and download, as you can see here. So if you want to upgrade to your custom build of PrestaShop 8, what you need to do is to build the release using the script that we provide with the software, plus put the zip and XML file to your admin directory /auto upgrade /download. And basically you are almost ready to go. Now I need to type that I want to upgrade to 8.0.0, and I need to choose an XML file to use. I will save the options. It will take a second for the auto upgrade module to reload the page. All right. And as you can see, all the files are now available for PrestaShop auto upgrade module to determine whether there are some changes or not. There are some changes in the core, but they are not relevant right now. So as we can see, all the requirements are green. Everything is correct. Our settings are as follows. So let me hide this list of files. All right. So again, server performance, it could be low, it could be medium. I'm choosing high. I want to disable non-native modules, and again, this is critical when you upgrade from 1.7 to V8. You should disable all overrides. You can upgrade the default theme. It is not relevant if you, it is not that important if you want to switch to the default theme after upgrade. Personally, I wouldn't recommend it. So if we have everything ready, if we want to upgrade to the local archive version, let's try it. Let's push this blue button and see if we will have a demo effect or not. So the upgrade is starting. Now we are upgrading the files. As you can see, locally is really, really, really quick. Now we are upgrading the database of PrestaShop. And all right, it's basically working. Our database is now upgraded. Right now we are upgrading some modules from add-ons marketplace, and here we go. The upgrade is completed. As you can see, upgrading from 178 to V8 from the clean installation is very, very smooth, and there were no problems at all. And honestly, I expect this to be very, very similar, even if you happen to upgrade from the production ready store, simply because this option, which disables non-native modules and overrides, should help you do that. Obviously, you should check your store afterwards. You should re-enable those modules one by one to check if everything is working correctly. But let's see if our PrestaShop is now in V8. Let's go to the back office homepage. All right, as we can see, there are some artifacts simply because our cache has not been cleared. All right, hard refresh of the browser, and now we can log into our back office, which is now based on PrestaShop 8. All right, so as you can see, upgrading from 1.7 to 8 is pretty straightforward. And as I said, I expect to be as smooth as I just showed you, even if you happen to upgrade from the production store. I really believe that this option, which disables non-native modules, should be a game changer. It's working properly now, thanks to the work of many people from quality assurance team and developers team, especially Mathieu Roland. So kudos to him for bringing this feature to the module. It is now working as expected. So this is it. This is basically it when it comes to upgrading PrestaShop 1.7 to V8. We will probably release an article on or improve the documentation on how to use auto upgrade module with your custom builds. And basically, I believe that this feature, which is about creating your own builds of PrestaShop, is very, very powerful and could be useful for many agencies. So we probably need to promote it more. So this is what I wanted to show you. If you want to test PrestaShop Release Candidate 1, if you want to test auto upgrade module with a new version, if you want to upgrade your production store, or I would rather tell you about upgrading the clone of your production store. If you want to do that, first you can create your own build of PrestaShop.8. Remember to start with 8.0.x branch, but I'm pretty sure the release candidate official build is coming very soon. Then you can choose to upgrade to the local archive version of PrestaShop from auto upgrade module. The one important thing to remember is that upgrade is smooth and stable with the newest version of auto upgrade module, which is now in release candidate. It is now in the hands of quality assurance team. So expect release of the new version of auto upgrade very, very soon, and expect release of the release candidate version 1 very, very soon. So now I can back to you, or maybe there are some questions, because the next segment of the presentation is all about the questions and answers. So let's switch to the presentation. And we do have two questions that were asked beforehand, before the live event, so I will try to answer them right now. So, Pablo, good point. Yes, we have information from Pablo, who is saying that remember that you can upgrade from NRC. And yeah, this is something that maybe we could improve in the future, but right now, if you want to upgrade your production store to release candidate, then you don't really have any way to upgrade from release candidate to the final version. There's no way to do that other than upgrading the files manually and running some SQL queries manually. So there's a way, but there's no automated way of doing so. So let's try to answer those questions that were asked beforehand. Progi is asking us about Hacktoberfest. PrestaShop promotes the Hacktoberfest, but there are big problems with reviews on the community PR mainly. What will be done to correct this problem? So to answer this question, first I need to mention that basically everyone were busy with their PrestaShop V8. So those were very, very busy times for entire team, entire community of PrestaShop developers. So I'm pretty sure that this state will improve in October or in next weeks. We will try our best to review all the prerequisites that are coming with Hacktoberfest initiative. So that shouldn't be a blocker for anyone. If you want to participate in Hacktoberfest 2022, go do that. I encourage you to contribute to the open source project because we will do our best to review all the pull requests that are coming to the project. We have more committers, we have maintainers ready for reviews. And with the final version of PrestaShop 8 coming, we expect to have more time for reviews very, very soon. I hope that answers your question. The second question is from Noname. This person doesn't provide us with any name. So the question is, can I use React in PrestaShop? I believe so. I don't see any point why you wouldn't be able to use React in PrestaShop. Maybe using it in front office would be a bit an overkill. But using it in back office in your module to create an more rich user interfaces and more robust applications, I think is a great idea. It's the same for Vue.js. We use Vue.js components in the software, in the core of the software. I know PrestaShop company team is using Vue.js in most of their modules, so go ahead, use React. It is possible. So I wouldn't worry if it's possible or not. It is possible. The question is whether you want to use it in front office or back office. So we had only 2 questions from the community before the event. So if you like this format, I encourage you to visit our build article, and maybe I will share you the link to the form that you can fill for the next demo. So basically, here's the form. We will keep this link the same for every session, so we can collect the questions and answer new questions every time we host the public demo. So I will now look for some questions. All right, we have a lot of people today, not much questions, but let's see. So there's a hint from Thomas that the version parameter is optional. If omitted, the value will be taken from the app kernel class. Good to know. I didn't know that. So it's good enough to just run the script without providing any optional parameter. All right. Thank you, Thomas. All right. So the question from Mao3 developer: is it possible to add easily SDI and PEG fields from addresses fields of a nation-like phone or DNI without use extra modules? I'm not sure if I understand the question, but if you want to update any form in PrestaShop, you can use hooks. And if you want to use hooks, you should basically create your own module or use module that is available somewhere in the community marketplaces. So I think this is a great question for our developer Slack, for our PrestaShop open source project Slack. So if you want to join the Slack, feel free to follow the link that I'm just sharing on YouTube comments. All right. And if you have more questions around the forms in PrestaShop, feel free to ask them on Slack. So Pablo, I think he means during the checkout process when creating a customer account. Still, it is possible during the checkout by using the same hooks as in the registration form. Basically, there are hooks for address form, there are hooks for customer entity, so it is all available using the hooks. Today you surprised us with special effects. We are speechless. All right. But still, if you have any questions, let me know. We still have some time. We can make this session a bit shorter than usual, but all right. There's a question about application for the maintainer role from PrestaEdit. It's true that it took 3 months and 57 long messages. There are plans to make this process more straightforward, but I would say that there are more plans to the project structure than the process of becoming maintainer. So I don't want to spoil anything, but there are some changes that are coming to the project structure, which will announce later this year, I hope. So it took a lot of time for us to vote, but like I said previously about the reviews, this was a really busy time for entire team. This was a time where some of the members were on vacation, some members were fully focused on delivering PrestaShop 8. So we can say again that we are sorry that it took so long to answer. We'll try to improve this process the next time, but most importantly, this process will change a bit and the structure will change. So yeah, this is my answer to this question. Do we need a specific repository for a module prefixed by? All right, Pablo, I don't see you, Pablo, in the StreamYard. But I think Pablo can join us for a minute and elaborate on the structural changes and PrestaEdit Jonathan's application for maintainer role. So let's wait for Pablo a bit. In the meantime, Pululu, if you could elaborate on your question. I already did that, Pablo. You have the link on Slack. So come join me. Okay, there's a question from Jonathan. Do you plan to have a roadmap public for the V8 and to start for the V8.1? And we do have these plans, and I hope to have more news about 8.1 and the next releases next month during the public demo. And now I will add Pablo to the stage. Hello, Pablo.
Today.
All right, I can hear you.
Yeah, today. Even if the background doesn't show. I wanted to take the opportunity to answer some of the questions that were raised, in particular regarding the governance of the project. What I wanted to say is, of course, we are sorry that it took so long for us to give an answer. It wasn't easy to provide an answer. I think that the main problem was that the timing wasn't right, because over the last few years we realized that there are structural problems about how the project is governed, and what we want to achieve is a different structure that will allow the community as a whole, with PrestaShop, the company included, to collaborate in the project, where every individual contributor is able to work on the subjects that they think they're the most important, or at least the the subjects that matter to each of them, and not necessarily the subject that somebody else decides on, so that we can collaborate on the same project. And the idea is to find a way so that everybody can work together on this on the project on the different subjects, but by providing some kind of structure or checks so that it doesn't become anarchic. To me, that's the key. It's liberating people so that they can contribute, while making sure that there's a certain minimum quality level that is assured. So this is what we are currently working on, and we want to find the answer in the next few months. So when you think about it this way, the current role of maintainers doesn't make sense anymore. What is going to replace that? We don't yet know, and that is one of the reasons why we decided not to accept Presta Edit, even though it's a very well known person in the community, and I'm sure he has a lot of things to offer the project. For now, what we created is an intermediate role that is called the leader, whose objective is to answer to what Progi asked. So we noticed that there are many pull requests that take a very long time to get merged, and this is due to several reasons. One of those is review, of course. So committers are meant to provide an answer, or at least a partial answer to that problem. And the other reason might be product manager availability, for example. Those are one of the other subjects that we want to provide an answer to by creating some sort of role or committee, so that we have other people joining as product managers, so that we can not necessarily decide on who does what and how, but more on what are the rules, the common ground, so that we can everybody knows what are the rules and what kind of guidelines must be followed, so that the project remains coherent. It's not about telling somebody else to do anything. It won't work that way. So and same thing we could say about QA. So it's actually the same thing. So that is what I wanted to say, because I felt that our actions might be misunderstood. It's not that we want to keep the project to ourselves. It doesn't work, or this is contrary to what we are trying to achieve. What we are trying to achieve is to increase the collaboration as peers, instead of being alone in the project. It's not interesting for anybody, I think.
Thank you, Pablo. I hope this will, put a more clear answer for Jonathan's question and to this topic. Basically, we are trying our best to improve things, but it takes time. We can only try better, and we will try better for the next time. And I believe that you becoming maintainer, Jonathan, would be a clear way. But the role needs some changes, the structure needs some changes, so it wouldn't make sense for you to become maintainer, to not have the same power as the maintainer has right now, and so on and so forth, just like Pablo explained. I see that I have some questions that I missed before answering Jonathan's about the public roadmap, but there's still a discussion going on and around the public roadmap. I believe, Pablo, maybe you can elaborate on that a public roadmap will be presented to the community during the next public demo.
I don't know about the specifics because those are the subject of the product managers. But what I can say right now is that we're no longer going to be speaking about a roadmap as we understand it, or at least as we understood it until now, because we are changing the angle um, of how we approach the development of PrestaShop. Instead of saying we PrestaShop as a company are deciding on the scope for this version, we recently we switched to a more regular rhythm of releases. This was made to provide visibility to everyone in the community. So it wouldn't be fair for us to say, okay, so since the scope of this version, as we decided all along, is that we're going to do this, and the version is done when we have done what we wanted to do for this version, and we don't care about what the other people have already merged in the version for this release. Instead, we're going together on a single on the same playground. We know that the freeze is going to be about 3 months after any given version has started. So we know that if we didn't finish the job in time for that freeze, then whatever we didn't merge will probably be merged for the next version. But we will no longer stop and wait for whatever we decided we wanted to do. So this is about the freeze date. Of course, the stabilization phase will take as long as it takes so that the final version is stable. So we estimate about 3 or more months for stabilization, but if it takes longer to stabilize, so be it. It's not a problem. But at least we know when to stop adding new things, and it's the same for everyone. So having said that, PrestaShop as a company decides what their teams do and what subjects they want to work in. Of course, we don't decide it out of thin air. The product managers actually investigate what are the needs, and they have to prioritize using several metrics, like what are the needs for our business as a company, and what are the needs of the project as a community platform. And we actually have dedicated a whole team for that, for this open source project that you guys know, Thomas, Mathieu, etc. And we dedicate a lot of energy into making sure that the project lives on, even though it's not in our primary interest as a company. We do it because we want the project to succeed. So having said that, we have a certain number of things that we decide to work on, and then the rest of the ecosystem, we're just one group within the ecosystem. The rest of the ecosystem, they will work on whatever they think is best for them. So, for example, Daniel wants this feature have it in the core. He will work on that, and he will make sure that it checks all the necessary requisites that it's merged. And other people will do the same. And what we are building around that is what we call initiatives. And I'm teasing you a little bit about this because we haven't actually started communicating about this, but the idea of initiatives is to put forward or give visibility to the subjects that both we and the community think are important to gather, to concentrate the contribution around subjects that matter to the greater number of people. And we will probably going to go deeper into this concept going forward. Not just now, but I wanted to introduce this because it serves as a way to explain that speaking about roadmap doesn't make sense unless we're controlling what everyone is doing, and we don't want to do that. We want to do the opposite. So in the future, we're probably going to communicate about what we as a company want to do and what we as a company think we're going to be able to deliver in a given release, but without making it so that the release only exists if we manage to finish what we wanted to do. Sorry for the long explanation.
Right. Thank you, Pablo. And I know the idea of initiatives will be explained somewhere in the future. So a little spoiler from Pablo, and more news coming soon. So there's also a question from Robert, who is asking us if we plan to replace TinyMC editor with something better. Personally, I don't really know the markets of editors. Maybe we could have something that supports maybe something what is more light than TinyMC, but the version that we use right now is quite a good fit in PrestaShop. So I'm not sure what we could choose in replace of TinyMC, but I know there were some plans to replace it during the licenses. I don't know. Pablo, do you have any answers to that question, or?
For TinyMC?
Yeah.
I think that this is a subject that we've been discussing for years. I don't think it's a priority for us right now, because even though there's a conflict of license between PrestaShop and TinyMC, so for only from that standpoint, we should change it. We do have a special permission to use it, but regarding feature-wise, I don't see it in our radar for the foreseeable future. Doesn't prevent people from working on that if they want to.
Thank you, Pablo. I believe we don't have any more questions. There was a question from Pululu regarding the build command. But Pululu, if you could ask the same question on Slack, that would be easier to follow your idea and your question. So feel free to ask me or someone else on the open source project Slack. And if there are no more questions, I think we can finish for today, and I think we can meet during the next session in November. See the last question, please. Pululo, I'm trying to find your question, but unfortunately, I don't see any. If you could ask it again. All right. Anyway, I think we can continue on Slack. So I would like to thank you everyone for participating in our public demo, and thank you, Pablo, for your time to answer some questions. And we will see you in November during our 8th session of public demo this year. Thank you for your time, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.